But I was going to say, he is right. There has been a lot of love here in Chicago for this event. Nothing but love within the venue. It has been really nice seeing everybody come together for this event and putting on a great showing. But speaking of a great showing, we have our final two here, Grand Finals of Chicago Summit. Are you guys hyped for Grand Finals, ATATA versus Ikan, guys?
This feels like true Chicago Grand Finals. I can't even lie. It feels like it. I don't know what about it, but we have quite the lively crowd, honestly. I'm so surprised we have quite the audience here. But I am so excited to get into this Grands.
Ikan versus ATATA. Ikan getting his first ATATA win today. Just a couple of hours ago. It hasn't even been that long. It's been such an electric time, but looking for the second one right now in Grand, starting on Battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, we did see him get that set win earlier on Battlefield. We saw why it was such a good stage for him previously. We talked to him about the pick. So I don't blame him wanting to go back here because ATATA's the kind of guy who's not really too keen, not really too worried about, you know, the minutia when it comes to certain stage picks.
And Ikan did mention that it really is, the stage really is about who can move better, right? Because both of them have great options under and on top of the platforms. It's about who's more on point. And right now, the PK fire into the baseball bat means that ATATA is the one starting it off.
Yeah, that was such a strong start here for ATATA, and most needed for sure to get the momentum going and the energy flowing here. Ikan's got to catch up, which he seems like he might do here, but again, going to play his card safe and retreat to stage here.
Really was looking for that same Game 5 closer that we saw from Winners Finals just to close a stock right now. You can see that his momentum is still strong despite not having played for about an hour.
God, and the movement we're getting out of Ikan here. Love the fireballs, catching the trajectory off of the first one into another one. Good stuff. Now we have to get off the ledge, but ATATA aggressively firing to get back to stage.
Dancing a little bit now, each under their own platforms. You can see one of them has to move to the other platform. Ikan entering ATATA's house, then leaving through the back door and through the front with the front foot. That Tatsu takes the stock. I'm just saying things. I don't think they mean anything.
Is anyone really listening?
All right, continuing on with this one, stocks are even, but Ikan is the one that has to get back here. Pressure's always on in disadvantage for the Ryu versus Ness matchup.
We're seeing ATATA put on a lot of pressure here, just keeping Ikan, you know, keeping Ikan honest, really, right? Because a lot of the things that we were seeing previously in that last set is Ikan stealing certain things away from ATATA when he was in advantage, right? That's how he got that final sequence in game number 5. But we really do see him keeping him honest, putting a lot of pressure on, being like, no, I'm not giving you things for free. You gotta still earn this. You might have been able to take that first game today, that first set today, and that's fine. But we're in Grands now. You gotta bring your A game still.
Lock in right here. Ledge trap finally pulled out the yo-yo again. It is a strong option against Ryu, but as Cal mentioned earlier tonight, mixing it in is how ATATA actually finds value from it. So we don't want to use it too often.
It's basically like the secret ingredient of like the recipe, because he's cooking right now. Like, he's definitely on his A game right now, and keeping so much pressure on Ikan is crucial. And we might see a bit of an edge guard, but missing that fair. Gonna safely recover, but how do you get back on stage against Ikan here?
He's just sticking out his toes.
Never mind. And the PK fire, yeah.
And the rising aerial up air takes the stock. ATATA at high percentages could be traded back easily, but for now has a little bit to work with.
One thing you'll see from Ikan here is when ATATA is playing in the air, because he doesn't want to play grounded versus Ryu, Ryu's jab has a rehit rate of 2 frames, and so it'll catch any spot dodge option. He attempts it to go for it there. It'll catch spot dodge, it'll catch roll, and it'll true combo and assure you, and you can buffer that as an option select. So Ikan is going to be constantly looking for that in these CQC moments.
Using all of the platforms to his advantage. Ikan going around the world and still not finding his way down. The earth is flat here as down below the stage, Ikan goes. ATATA 2 stocks.
Yeah, just really, really dominant first game here. I mean, but we see it a lot, right? We know that these players' history, right? First win today for Ikan, but it's a lot to put on the mental stack, you know? to know that you have such a history with this player and it being such a big achievement for him to finally overcome, but he said earlier the job's not over, so now we got to do it again. And that, doing it once is already pretty a hefty task, and knowing you can do it once means you can do it again, but actually doing it again is a completely different story.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall task here from ATATA, but looking pretty good right now. Again, keeping Ikan on his toes here. Just got to be ready for it here. Already starting us off with a greedy dash attack there.
ATATA winning that crucial game 1. This is not how winners finals started. You remember, Ikan took the first game, and that final stage counter pick did come into play. This is the stage, of course, that Ikan wanted to go to in game 5 of winners finals, and it's where he's choosing to go back to in game 2 with his own stage counter pick.
One thing you'll see in that regard is the tri-plat layout lets Ikan keep Ness on the side platforms to get his ladders, and Sharking with the upper to get the Mario-esque ladders up top with the Shoryu. And that's how he closed out game 5, so we'll see if he can do it again in Grands.
We can see that he was already looking for it.
Yeah, most definitely, because he's been so consistent, and we've definitely seen that before, so it's nothing Ikan can't do. And honestly, I mean, he's just got to get more usage out of those platforms here. But again, he's going to keep it grounded, going to play it safe here on the ledge, because he does not want to approach ATATA off stage whatsoever.
And something that I wanted to call back to, like Kevin, you mentioned, about the movement on this stage. It's about who moves better, right? But that was a game 5 pick. That was, in context, something completely different. So I'm curious how that is going to apply in this specific chapter of their set record.
Right, and even having played 5 games against each other, now 6, I think, speaking to something that Cypher was talking about earlier, these early games, it's really about conditioning. But early game conditioning does come into play a lot more. So maybe the game 5 counter pick is different because you are expecting the momentum to be in your favor, to move better. But on this stage, it might be more about how do I predict what my opponent is doing, and that's exactly what ATATA did right there, going deep for the edge guard.
The unfortunate part is Ikan can definitely get outpaced in these adaptations. He doesn't have 2 sets to work with like ATATA does, so he's going to have to work fast and make these adaptations quicker, make the changes he needs to clutch out and reset the bracket.
Okay, just dancing. Back and forth.
It's so, like... It's so close. Like, we can literally tell that Ikan is just one good hit away from here as he's trying to sneak in. But as soon as he approaches ATATA, he's shielding because there's that fear of, like, I'm going to get grabbed or I'm going to get down tilted or something. He knows that there's something in ATATA's back pocket, but going to be able to secure the first stock now and only 30%.
The special cancels to, you know, take stocks off of platforms, off of using rising aerials. Of course, it's how we saw them, like the Mario-esque ladders in that game 5. But it works right there as well, where you're not sure if the SDI is going to put ATATA on, or even just like naturally based off of you moving in. If ATATA's going to be on your left or right, Tatsu's going to hit both. Sharking underneath again, but this time ATATA went with a falling aerial to prevent the Shark. PK Thunder into the up air. Ikan finds the reopening. The ladder is started, but cannot be finished, unfortunately.
Yeah, able to find an opening in just the smallest of gaps and capitalizing on it immediately. Almost, you've got Ness at kill percentage, right? Not a particularly heavy kid, mind you. Like, he's a pretty easy thing to KO. So I do like being able to find that and putting on a lot of pressure, because now ATATA has to play a lot more reserved, a lot more scared, unless you can get a grab for that back throw to take a stock.
ATATA was conditioning that grab for the last 30 seconds, continuously walking up with shield, then jumping out of shield with an aerial. We saw Ikan go for the spot dodge already, so he knew that he was looking for the spot dodge, but ATATA reconditioned, went for one down tilt into a back throw, but just as quickly as his stock got taken, it's traded right back. Ikan and ATATA last stock on game 2.
The reflector, 49% off that one reflected Chucky.
We take those.
It's moments like those where I remember we are playing Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
We are playing a children's party game. We are.
This is PK Entertainment. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god, all these PK fires, all these projectiles, the PK Thunder. Oh my gosh.
One of the biggest things that Ikan is going to have to deal with is these multi-hits, juggling them at disadvantage. He cannot focus through all of them. He got lucky with only the last hit of that fair hitting. He makes it back to stage, finishes with a Shocky.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that down smash cancel for the fireball, but it's not enough as ATATA takes a second game here in the beginning of Grand Finals. This is looking a little rough.
You were talking about that approaching with PSI Magnet and how beneficial that was for ATATA in a different game, but right here, mixing it in a nice way against a character that wants so badly to stay grounded, whenever you're swinging in the air so much, Ikan is more inclined to stay grounded, and that's when approaching with PSI Magnet is so, like, it's such a good option.
Yeah.
Comboing into the Nair, I mean, the percentage was like 170%, so I mean, anything would have taken the stock.
And not only that, but like we've also seen ATATA like travel with the PSI Magnet. Like he would be able to basically carry Ikan off stage, and it is such a good like edge guard tool as well. So I would like to see that more from ATATA, or maybe he just knows something I don't. But yeah, I mean it just leaves Ikan so vulnerable off stage and even on stage, because if he gets him off the ground, then obviously it's just a train. It's a non-stop kind of thing that's happening.
It is a commitment from ATATA. He has to double jump cancel to get the Magnet to combo into an aerial off stage, and so if he misses it, he'll be without a jump, so it's probably a risk management type of situation.
I see.
Another one of those situations where mixing it in at the right times can be more beneficial, but
Just like a yo-yo.
Exactly, but if your opponent starts understanding that that's what you're looking for, it can be hard punished.
This is completely off topic. I love ARMS music. This song is so cool.
The ARMS menu theme or the title theme or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's fire. That's fire.
Sending it to a final destination here. ATATA up 2-0. Ikan decided to go with something a little bit more volatile than just your traditional dual or tri-plats. She's going to go to a fully flat stage, but he was talking to us about this whenever he was at the interview. ATATA thrives on these flat stages, right?
He does.
And so being able to, it feels like pretty confidently take him to a flat stage means that Ikan has figured something out, or he believes he's figured something out.
I disagree. I think it's possible that he just thought ATATA was moving better on those tri-plat stages and decided, you know what, let's take those away and I will try to reset and play just straight up neutral and straight up frame traps.
100%. I think it goes both ways. Whether Ikan felt like he was not able to traverse the platforms well enough, putting himself above Ness where the aerials are going to be more beneficial, but he misses that tech and he loses the stock for it.
Yeah, that was a tap home run right there. Unlucky for Ikan.
Still not too far behind whatsoever. 111% on ATATA. He's just got to get in just barely, but ATATA's doing such a well job. Not too good of a job, though, to hold on to that first stock.
Yeah, able to get the little two-step from the tilt back there. Good stuff coming out from Ikan, but he's having a hard time really getting his hands on the on ATATA right now.
That mixed him?
So slow.
He can cancel it. He can cancel it immediately, but it only gives him 1%. So.
Okay.
Oh
my!
And that's the
tough.
Mute killer right there with that dare reversal.
The Mute-Ace killer. Ikan potentially on this first set of Grand's stock right now, as ATATA's looked way more dominant in the start of this set than in winners finals. Right now, the counterpick does not look favorable for Ikan, but ATATA stalling off stage, his favorite thing to do when he's ahead so far.
Yeah, and especially against Ryu, who doesn't have any options for you there. Just kind of is like, okay, sure, you like stall, I guess. There's not a lot I can do about that.
Yeah.
But he was able to secure a stock there. Really, really good stuff. And we're racking up a lot of percentage here. Things are looking to turn in Ikan's tide here, as ATATA's having a hard time actually getting away from Ikan as he's just continuing to press these buttons in his face.
Great SDI to get out of that fair train, and reversals the situation. Ness is at kill percent right now. Let's see if he goes for the F to ledge trapping here.
Very calm, patient roll in after a delay. Turns the tides in ATATA's favor. Sharking under the water right now, but
I'll fair show you
Ikan
that's
finds the
it.
ball.
Not it.
Doesn't take it yet.
Ugh, a false kill screen here, but Ikan knows, he smells blood in the water. He knows he's got something here, so just a little bit more patience. One opening is all he needs to put a game on the board here in the beginning of Grand Final.
There needs to be more damage tacked on to Ikan or a cheeky offstage situation, but I think right now Ikan's looking like he's in the driver's
The
seat.
hard up tilt for the game, and Ikan's still in it. He still has some skin in the game.
Uppercuts. Ugh.
And that is such a satisfying game number 3 right there. Like, it gives you a very, really needed fresh of air to be like, okay, I can breathe. I can still do this. I still have more in the tank. This isn't over just yet. Really good stuff for Ikan kind of stopping a bit of a steamroll that was starting to start here, right? A bit of a snowball.
Which is not what you want to see going into a Grand Finals reset, right? You want it to be a slog for the person on the loser side, because not only do they have to fight through 2 sets to beat you, they had to come off of 2 sets immediately back to back, and now here. So the more you can fatigue your opponent, the better it is for you. That's a lot of the benefit, besides, of course, the set reset that you get from being on the winner's side of Grand Finals.
Right.
And as Kevin said earlier, that was Iken's counter pick. He wanted less platforms. He felt like he was moving better, or worse rather, than ATATA on these platforms. So let's see if that's still the case. Let's see if Iken can...
Yeah, because interestingly, it's ATATA's stage pick this time. He chose to go back to Battlefield because he is feeling more comfortable, like you're saying. So it's a very interesting choice here, being the stage that sent him to losers, and he's opting into it.
I mean, he probably figured something out now. That he has, it's 2-1 over Iken right now, sitting pretty comfortably right now, taking the lead here. It's something's definitely like going in ATATA's thought process right now. That he's like, yeah, I've figured it out now.
Rising with that air right there. That's a great way to get back to stage. I like that we're mixing in more of the slow Hadoukens here, because it creates more space, and basically, in some cases, ATATA is going to be holding that PSI magnet for longer, giving Iken some more opportunities, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case right now. The PK fire into the forward there takes the stock.
Very dominant first stock from ATATA. He didn't let Iken leave the corner. Constant ledge trapping, constant forcing of poor options out of the corner and punishing for those. Let's see if Iken can turn the tides.
Right now, we talked about it, ATATA looks very comfortable under, on top of, and weaving in between the platforms. So it's really about how Iken is going to force ATATA away from them. So if you can keep the ledge trap hot, that's a win condition.
God, it's so tense sitting on the ledge right there, knowing that just one misstep is going to go the end, and ATATA being very patient there, but there it is, Iken just barely a step behind, waiting for something, waiting for an opening. Love the neutral get up to avoid getting red on the tech roll in. We're going to find something. Wow. Yeah, there it is. A nice jab 1-2 into the shore. Good stuff for Iken.
That was such a good slide follow off of the aerial to close out the stock. I mean, just knowing how far ATATA would be sent and then following into it. Uh-oh.
The 2-frame on his up B into the back throw. Crazy timing from ATATA.
Yeah, now we're going to be seeing the chase here with the PK Thunder, and unfortunately not going to land that up air. I just know ATATA was fishing for that, but Iken is going to be turning it around right now to make up for that lost percentage here, but the back throw will secure it just like that.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to those percentages as you get closer to center stage. Basically 140 and above is danger zone for grabs. And that's how ATATA's gonna get a lot of value as he racks up damage, is either pressuring the grab or just getting the grab.
You'll see ATATA playing around this ledge, looking for reversals. Iken knows that. He has not been actively ledge trapping close to it. He's giving him space. He doesn't want to engage in that and get reversaled and throw away his chance at resetting this bracket here.
I definitely feel like you have to respect that, especially as such a player as like ATATA, because he's just of such high caliber that he knows what he's going to look for off stage. So Iken is definitely going to play the patience game here and going to be fishing for that second stock now.
Yeah, and able to sneak in another confirm into the Shoryu. Good stuff for Iken. We're able to avoid a ledge trap. Can we find something? Not too much, but God, it's just so tense. It's so hard for him to actually get his hands on ATATA for more than a couple seconds, because all it takes is one slip up and ATATA is already opening up for more and more percentage.
ATATA's in his comfort zones, playing on the plats with the PK fires, using that movement to his advantage, and Iken has not been able to put ATATA on the back foot to force favorable situations. Now, deep off stage, Iken is going to get comboed. That PK Thunder into the up air, just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough to take that. That's a reset. That's a reset. We're getting a second set of grand finals. Reset, reset.
Now we're getting true finals.
Reset,
This is actually it.
Yeah, oh, and look at ATATA. Yeah, that's confidence right there.
Yeah, he's
that's a lot of confidence
he's
right
just
there.
like, yep, I got it, yep.
I know it's not going to happen, but if ATATA wins, I want to see the pop-off. I need
some emotion.
From this decade, I need an ATATA pop-off. Yeah, maybe some. Just give me a fist pump. I'll take that.
How bad do you need it?
I'll pay him. Hey.
You're going to bribe him to pop off?
I'll pay him. I didn't think we were coming back.
He's getting paid for winning.
I didn't think so either. I didn't think we were cutting back to us.
ATATA, I'm going to write down a number. You tell me if this sounds good to you.
He can definitely hear you for sure. $1? One bone?
No? It's not enough?
Yeah, I mean,
What about this?
How does that feel?
Okay.
I don't.
What about this? Now we're talking.
I think we're actually talking.
He's a tough bargainer, man.
Now we're talking. What if we did?
That's like a tenth of what he's winning today. Less than that.
What if we did this?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I tossed the
okay,
dot in
okay.
there. Yeah.
Hey, I gotta make
Okay.
sure.
Now we're talking.
How much for an Atata pop-off? That's what we're really asking. Can somebody run in the
Is
room
that the
and ask
value
him?
of it?
Is it the value of an Atata pop-off is priceless. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, most
MasterCard.
definitely. Yeah.
But, you know, we'll, okay, what if we do this
Well, the longer we go
instead?
without it, the more expensive it gets. It's just aging.
Now are we talking?
I believe. No, that is still more money.
I think it is actually.
I thought about it
a little bit.
like, is
I
that
didn't think
more?
we'd be talking about currency exchange rates at this point in the show, but I guess that's
What
what
else
we're at
is there
now.
really to talk about during the grand finals reset? Oh goodness, I don't know. I don't know what does Ikan need? Like, what's the reset here? Is it a mental thing? Is it a momentum thing? Is it more just like what was the special sauce from winners finals, or do we think that Atata's just figured out how to be one step ahead?
I mean, realistically, it's possible Ikan wanted to take that first set, take his time slow, make Atata really show all of his cards. Maybe he has something cooking.
I hope to see it as we get into this reset right now. They're doing some rock, paper, scissors. We're going to determine what stage we are going to. That battlefield is looking so hot for Atata this time around.
I mean, they're hovering over it, so probably thinking about it. Unless they're banding right now, that's probably what they're going over. So we will see what stage we're going to go to for our true finals here.
Yeah.
Or
Looks like
music
we
counter
are.
pick first.
Music power pick, but it is battlefield.
Oh, is that
Okay.
Castlevania music?
It is.
Yeah,
Love
it
me some
is, yep.
Castlevania music.
We're setting it to battlefield.
I love Castlevania music. Played it all day today.
But we'll see here how we're able to. I really want to see the adaptations from Ikan, right?
Yeah.
We know that matchup, that player matchup, was very studied for him to get that first win.
100%.
We need to see more adaptation, right? Just because you get it the one time doesn't mean you're going to get it the next time. You got to keep innovating, got to keep moving, got to keep finding new ways to improve against players, especially against players at the caliber that Atata plays at.
It's so hard to trap him down because as soon as you feel that elevated feeling that, yeah, I got a set on him, I got a win on him, the next set, as soon as you know, he could be an entirely different play style, like entirely. And that's just what we're seeing here. And that's why he's made it to the reset. So who knows if Atata's going to keep going here or Ikan is going to be able to turn around in his favor.
In this second set already, we see Ikan way more aggressive than he was. Maybe he really was looking for information that first set and really willing to play that long game. You see way more aggression from him starting off.
Yeah. Calling out a lot of these high PSI magnets that Atata has been using for movement and threat rate as well. Really good stuff from Ikan, and that aggression is really turning the tides from him here. We're seeing it's a lot more even, a lot closer than those last games were even in his favor here. One good hit might spell the end of Atata's first stock here in True Finals.
We're like a little bit over a minute into the set, and we haven't seen Atata get to play on the platforms like he had been in the prior set. It's just any time that Atata misses a PK fire, instead Ikan is approaching with like a shark to up air. But sometimes it's not going to play into your favor as Atata gets him off stage, but reversal quickly, getting back to stage, looking for a ledge trap, not going to do it, so just playing for center again. But how aggressive Ikan is playing. You pointed it out.
It's definitely much closer now that Ikan is pressing the gas, and he's definitely being more aggro, as you said, Kevin. So that's definitely what we need to see here, and completely negating the platforms and being able to stop Atata from using them. That's exactly what he's going to do here to turn this around in his favor and keep getting some extra credit here. We shall see, unless Atata closes this first stock out.
Netting that first stock from baiting Atata with all these aggressive aerials, trying to get him to swing preemptively to stuff him out, and air dodging through into his fast frame 2 jab into Shoryu. Perfect gameplay from Ikan so far.
Interesting. So you think the secret sauce isn't just that Ikan's playing more aggressive, but rather he's conditioning Atata to believe that he's playing more aggressive.
I think so.
Yeah.
So far, at least.
That could definitely be a mind game.
Because something that I'm also noticing is that just because he has a little bit more aggression to him, or maybe that feign of aggression to him, it doesn't necessarily mean he's playing faster. It is very calculated movements coming out from Ikan. Every move feels like it has a very specific purpose every time he throws something out.
now we've kind of slowed it down a little bit. Ikan's not throwing out a lot of those aggressive aerials, like shadow boxing to create space anymore, and it feels like ATATA's a lot more comfortable playing into the center there. And the reason why, of course, is because Ikan is up a stock, not anymore, but he was up a stock, so he was happy to play the slow game.
Yeah.
But now that we have a fresh stock, I imagine we're going to see a lot more of what we saw, that special sauce, in the first, oh my god, 2 minutes of the game. 3 minutes at this point.
It is a slower game. Hopefully we can see Ikan. He is still giving ATATA this ledge. He is not willing to play this reversal game, and that is what ATATA is known for here in Chicago. He's known for his reversals off ledge and for turning a seemingly good situation for yourself into death, and you lose the game before you realize it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe slowing down like the pace of the game is going to be Ikan's, you know, I mean, like the secret sauce, as you mentioned, Kevin. It might be just that. I mean, kind of stalling out almost ATATA here and like making him like almost like try to close that gap, even though Ikan's going to be just looking for the stocks there, but not that one that time. Going to be barely surviving with that DI.
I'm also loving how creative these recoveries have been from Ikan. Something you're going to see a lot when you're fighting against Ryu's or even Ken, for that matter, any really of the fighting game characters, is that very exploitable recovery, especially with characters who can go as deep as Ness can.
Yeah.
But we saw him using high tatsus and directional air dodges to avoid these forward airs and all this pressure that ATATA can create. This is a different player from that last game.
Stock up tilt to close out that stock. ATATA is down for what feels like the first time in these 2 sets. Maybe it's just the momentum, but Ikan does feel like he's controlling it, but just as I say that, ATATA's found the reversal, takes the steering wheel for himself, pops a U-turn, says, we are not letting this go easily. Now they're starting their own combo.
Was that Ness up tilt? Did I see Ness up tilt just
You
now?
did see
Yes,
Ness up
yes,
Shout out
you
to
did.
Ness up tilt.
Which
How-
we actually haven't seen too much of,
I
honestly.
think that's the first time I've seen it.
Ever?
I've seen it a few
My entire
times,
life.
yeah.
Yeah, we're getting back to playing on the platforms. ATATA's actually utilizing the top platform a little bit more in the movements to mix up the timings that Ikan has become so accustomed to.
Oh my
And
god.
that reflects
yeah.
another 40% from one Shaku, resetting the ledge trap. Ikan does make it back to center. Great use of focus.
Yeah, return to center there from ATATA here. And again, just putting so much pressure on Ikan. Gonna keep him on his toes here and keep guessing. Yeah, just one fair to poke out. Something to go! But yeah, it's looking really close now.
Ness is at kill percent.
Oh,
Back
oh,
air.
Oh, there it is!
And that's it.
The end
Ikan
of back
takes
air.
game 1 of the reset.
That's crazy. Now we're looking at winners finals again, right? Ikan takes game 1, gets the counterpick
On
stage.
Battlefield.
On Battlefield. Potentially we'll get a counterpick stage on that game 5, but more importantly, like you just mentioned, on Battlefield. ATATA had Battlefield all for the first set. Now Ikan's found the footing again. What happened? New player.
I think he realized how he needed to move. He needed to up the tempo and make ATATA a little more unwilling to swing and work his way around, put his buttons out, get his openings. I think he realized that's what he needed on Battlefield to make that counterpick work.
Not about complacency. Patience is about timing. And that's really what it seemed like the difference maker was. Before in the first set, Ikan was playing a little bit more complacent in center stage, happy to hold it down and shield and work on approaches, but it gave ATATA too much playground for this child, right? The child being Ness. Not just.
Right.
Sometimes. But but now Ikan has instead taken away a lot of that space, and ATATA sometimes feels like he's just forced into the sandbox where Ikan is happy to play. Taking a moment of silence before the tension of this grand finals reset. There's so much on the line for both of these players.
Oh my god.
Unfortunate SD from
Wow.
Ikan.
I mean, such a train of like momentum that we saw there. So many fairs coming out from ATATA and just going to end it off there. I mean, there's just so much pressure that ATATA was adding on from that first stock and going to have a pretty good lead here.
Throwing off a couple of coconuts off the side. ATATA air dodges to stage, looking for an aggressive re-entry here, and actually finds it with the PK fire, but quick SDI out means that Ikan stays in the driver's seat. Looks for a confirm here, but a little bit too far off the ledge. It's too dangerous. Ikan misses that one. ATATA trying to regain control, regain composure, and tack on some more damage.
It really does seem like Ikan is trying to take advantage, as we saw in the first game, of how big the difference is between these two characters' weights. He wants to kill Ness as early as possible because he knows that he can live much longer than him.
Oh. That's a
SD for
misclick.
SD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Nerves may be getting a little bit too much in Chicago Ultimate Summit.
Everyone's been having nerves like all day. I mean, this has been such a tense bracket.
It has been so tense, and you can tell anytime we kind of take a moment to really soak it in. You know, it happens to the best of us, you know, when we're casting here, but these moments of silence have been, don't lack any context. You know what I mean? Lots of tension here in this game as we continue forward. These two players, such a studied history, both of them fighting really hard here in such an intense bracket. God, it's so hard for them to get any footing started here. Both of them just barely whiffing every single move that they're running for here, any confirm that they're looking for. Both of them fighting for scraps right now.
Look at the cat and mouse game, the ranges at which they are playing with each other. There's like a tether between them, and like you mentioned, tension is the word of the tournament right now. The tension of that tether stretching and contracting, and once one of them finds it, the break is open, and that's what happens when the rubber band snaps.
Yeah.
He wants to be very sure that Ikan was a dead man there and going to be going with that back there to secure it. So again, although we see a lead from ATATA, Ikan has definitely not too far apart here. We just need one good confirmed hit. But again, ATATA just not looking to stop whatsoever.
ATATA has been so aggressive off the ledge there. And the thing about it is that Ikan has been ready for it, right? We see him micro-spacing back and forth, walking slowly back and forth, baiting ATATA. But ATATA is waiting and picking the perfect opportunity almost every time to get the correct timing and be able to swing aggressively to continue him, to push himself further into stage.
Well, Ikan approaches from there and actually gets ATATA. Not quite going to take the stock here, 130%. We're going to get back to stage safely because, of course, Ikan does not need to pressure more than just the stage.
Going for the grab release to put Ness in a bad spot. Probably looking to get an up air Shoryu, trying to close out their stock and close this gap of this 2-stock lead that ATATA has.
Yeah, and especially we've got Rage built on as well, so that's not going to be too good for Ikan, but putting a stop to it immediately going to be sending ATATA down to his last stock.
I've noticed a change in Ikan here.
Yes.
He's tilting that shield upward. I don't know if the US you guys caught it. Tilting that shield upward, possibly to catch these aerial approaches, that 45-degree angle that a lot of the sports stubby characters aren't a big fan of. So we'll see if he's able to find something. Fantastic air dodge to get away from the up air, but we're going to get caught by the grab into a back throw. We got to make it back to stage. We have to find a way out. Good double jump to avoid that down smash.
That directional air dodge was looking like it was going to spell curtains for Ikan, but he's able to find footing back at the center of the stage. ATATA's happy to play this slow with a percentage advantage. He's not at risk of losing his stock just yet, but when you're off stage this deep, gets the bounce and is going to be able to make it back, but Ikan was looking, unfortunately, once again, a missed opportunity, and you can see the emotion.
We're finally getting some emotion out of ATATA. He is not happy with that missed angle.
And it's so rare that you see an emotion really when they're playing for either of these players, right? We kind of know these players for being very stoic when they're playing, also very jovial when you're talking to them in general. So seeing such an intense emotion from ATATA here shows us, first of all, how tense, we've talked about it all night, how tense this bracket is, how important this is, and more importantly, how much he actually cares to continue to push as we continue.
Choosing again to run it back. ATATA is happy to go to Battlefield. It served him well in the first set. Why wouldn't it in the second set? The adaptation, he thinks, is not from the stage, but needs to come from within. Creative approach right there with PSI Magna off the ledge, getting that forward air train into the forward throw. That PK Fire could spell curtains. The PK Thunder tail does catch his jump, and that's going to be first stock to ATATA.
Yeah, fantastic stuff coming there. I mean, just such a clinic going coast to coast from the left to the right side, catching a really beautifully angled PK Fire to catch the poor recovery on the character there. I mean, it was just textbook stuff, and now he's kind of running away with this. Almost 40 or 44, nearly 50% on it. Fantastic air dodge to avoid that raw forward smash. Good stuff, but we got to find something more because that 44% is sitting for quite a while now.
Tap into the Shoryu. Stock traded back without too much to his name. Only 44% of extra credit for the student.
honestly, I would love to see more like off-stage gameplay, or even more from ATATA here with that Magnet as we saw. And I believe more of that horizontal gameplay will be exactly what ATATA needs to secure these games and to really just get into Iken's mind here. But we're not seeing too much of that. Iken is like sticking to stage here. He's gonna have that stage control and really not play into ATATA's game.
But part of that was the conscious decision to go to Battlefield. You're choosing to play on stage. You're choosing to play around the platforms and giving Iken more opportunities to recover onto the top plat, onto the side plats. You're not playing for the defensive option, but this offensive option does win the stock. ATATA's up a clean one.
These multi-hits from Ness with the PK fire, intercepting the Ryu recovery. He cannot get past it with anything like focus to readjust. The spacing that he's going to up yet, gimping him twice now.
Tap follow up here. Iken not going for any sort of desperation, but actually finds the up tilt into the down air. We do get the reset. We're not missing this angle this time. We are. I lied. I lied.
I don't think he could have made that one. I think he was too far to the left and under the stage that going vertically, he was going to bonk on the stage regardless. I think that was just a good play from Iken. Getting the dare, bring himself back into the game.
Massively back into the game. Again, that was a clean stock up.
ATATA on his tournament stock now.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, ATATA's got to fight for his life if he still wants to still be in this, because again, Iken is up 2-0, going to be looking for this stock right now as he's trying to get the gear going. I mean, we'll see.
ATATA was too afraid of the repeat from winners finals. Air dodged away, but that means Iken gets a ledge trap here. What's it going to be? Dash back, dash forward. Now we're following high, but the DI out saves ATATA. ATATA trying to make his way back to stage. Iken mixing in some focus punches, but playing for center. So calm, so patient.
You can see the confidence coming out from Iken here. He knows he has ATATA scared. He has him dead to rights here. One interaction, it's all it's going to take for him to secure this out. Not going to be able to there. Another panic air dodge coming out of ATATA. This is so tense for these two players here. All Iken needs to do is stay composed and find the opening, but ATATA is recognizing that. He's taking a step back. He's really putting on a lot of pressure just with his movement.
The Nair has been so helpful here. We've seen that as a great get off.
That could be it!
And Iken closes it out 3-0 in the reset against ATATA.
God, so tense of a game 3 there. Iken punching in his ticket, taking the tournament over ATATA. I mean, God, such a masterclass of applying all of the knowledge that you've gathered over the years, the set history, and also just those last 2 sets that they played just today, really showing just how studious and how, adept Iken is in just applying everything that you could possibly learn. Every minute detail really came to show in that last game.
Studied on the way into the tournament and learning every moment of each of the 3 sets they played. Can he do it? Yes. It doesn't really work with that tense. I need him to say it.
You do need him to say it, but I get what you're saying.
I kind of need it, but it reads well.
It does read well.
We'll be able to get him to say it though, because we're going to get an interview with him shortly. But congratulations, Iken, not just for winning Chicago Summit, but for taking 2 sets off of ATATA in the same tournament after previously having none.
0-4 to 2-5.
Yeah,
to win the tournament.
Definitely got to put that on his resume there. I mean, 2 ATATA wins is nothing to laugh about whatsoever, especially going to be taking first place, as you mentioned, Kevin. I mean, what a great showcase from Iken. Even under the pressure and after the reset, still being able to just still go. I mean, having that much stamina, it's so crucial in these last-minute moments here.
Yeah. Every second, every frame, every detail counts. It matters so much. But here he is, the man of the hour. Before you say anything, can we give it up for Iken, ladies and gentlemen?
How are you feeling?
Hold on, he's got to get the mic on, huh?
Iken!
How you feeling, man?
I came to this tournament with a bracket demon that eliminating for the first time at the Chicago Invitational feels amazing.
And the double elimination at that, I mean, oh my goodness. Wait, what was the grand finals reset mindset for you? You know, ATATA was feeling so dominant especially on Battlefield too. Like you talked about in the last interview, it was really about like who feels more comfortable with the movement. What was the adaptation?
I was sitting in center way too much. That was the first thing. I was getting hit by a lot of PK fires, and I had to really tell myself, okay, you either get under one platform or under the other platform. You don't ever want to be in the middle. Like, I can't throw any fireballs because diagonal PK fire will hit me, and he's playing really well with forward air out of the corner, so there's no Ryu back airs that can get any kills because he's just going to put it up as a wall. So I just had to wait, and it's weird to be in that middle range where you're holding center, but it's not good versus Ness. So, yeah, I'm very proud of that. I got all the info that I really needed from set one. I made all the mistakes, and I was like, okay, I can probably implement this. Saved F-tilt bear to win game one of second set, and I was like, okay. Game two, I locked out with the SD because he couldn't recover, and then game three, I just held composure, and it worked out.
I'm curious what your decision was with the FD pick and why you ended up going back to Battlefield.
So FD was a test game. I was like, okay, what can happen here? If I'm going to test it, I have to test it in the first set. I won, and I was like, okay, I can win harder on Battlefield, or I can get more chances on Battlefield. Just the fact that Ryu up air can ladder like that is too powerful, and I need places to land if I want to go high and recover, because as you saw, if I go low and I mess up into PK Thunder, I just lose a stock. So, yeah, I'm beyond ecstatic. I really wanted this, and he is the person that I really wanted to beat the most. He is currently the highest ranked representative in the world, right, with his placements in the end of last season. So I really wanted to beat him, and I'm so glad I got to do it twice.
Incredible.
Not only that, but you also won. You
Yeah.
gotta give yourself some credit here.
Yeah.
You also won.
You also won
That's
the whole
true.
thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This doesn't feel real. Getting a little sentimental. I've always been in and out of Chicago. I went here for undergrad, and I just graduated. So people have seen me all over when I'm back home in NorCal, when I'm studying abroad in France, randomly in Hawaii for a family trip. So winning the Chicago event means a lot, because this was when I started playing offline, and this is when I really got to become known to the Smash community,
Yeah.
just winning ignitions and playing over here. So the fact that I got to do it and win the Chicago event, beating my bracket demon twice, incredible.
This is so much to take in, I'm sure, but I have to ask, what's next for you? Where are we going?
I haven't booked my flights for Level Up Expo, but I'm going to be there. I couldn't go to Battle of BC because it's too hard to make work, and I'm not going to Kagaribi because I have Masters Finals the week after. So probably Expo, and then we'll see what the summer has to hold, if I get a job or not. So it's my last year of education, so I feel really great about that.
And something else that I want to know is, you know, you said one of the driving factors to you being here was getting that ATATA win, right? That was kind of the next step for you.
Yeah.
You got two of them.
Yeah.
What's next after that? What's the next? What's going to drive the hunger going forward here, do you think?
So I've been having a little bit of a problem with my major placements lately. It's funny because I remember me and Jeff ATATA had this discussion where in 2023 I was doing really well at majors, and he was kind of like finding his footing, right? And in 2024 he did amazing at majors, and I've been getting stuck in 33rd, 49th, 65th. So I'm really trying to break that mold again, because I know I've done it before. So doing well at majors and making it into those top 32s is my goal. The composure that I showed today is a really good green light. If I can hold composure against a forward air walling, PK fire angling down player like that, then I can handle a lot of things that Ryu traditionally struggles against. So yeah.
All right, well, I think there's really only one more thing to do before we move on, and that is the cards here in the dead center.
You want to hand it to him? Just since you're a little closer. Yeah.
We have in first place, Ikan. And the
Ikan.
card is beautiful.
Surreal, actually surreal.
Congratulations, Ikan. Do you have anything else you want to say? Any last words, closing remarks?
Chicago was the first region that really pushed me into becoming a better player, and pretty much everyone that I played today has been at some point either a friend, a rival, someone that I can always butt heads against and play. And coming back and playing everybody from Gauntlet, groups all the way to final bracket has been awesome. I'm always in and out of Chicago, so if I show up to a local or two and I find the time, I'm always going to show up. But this was my first tournament win of 2025, so that's pretty good too. Right?
First of many.
I've only been to
First of
4,
many, yes.
and 2 of them were majors. I've only been to 4, but we'll take one, right?
Yeah.
I'm beyond ecstatic. And players like ATATA, like Raven King, like Ice Knight, even more like Sam T. Silver, who couldn't make it here, they've always pushed me, and they've made me become really, really strong. And without all of you guys, maybe this guy on the couch too, I wouldn't be where I am today. One of my dreams was always to compete in an invitational. And I don't know if you guys remember, but at Watch the Throne 2, I got 3.2K outvoted by a German Pichu named Dryby. Dryby is a homie, super chill guy, shout outs to him, but I've always wanted to compete in an invitational. Winning it against a bracket demon and a ton of other amazing players, surreal.
Shout outs to Ikan. Congratulations again.
Fantastic job, man. Amazing showing. Always great to see you come out when you can. And look at that. Look at the graphic already here. Ikan taking it first. God, it's been such a crazy tournament, man.
Beautiful stuff. All the way from Ned to Ikan. Cypher, of course, on the stage with us right now. Revolver and Joe Cool at 5th. Raven King at 4th. Ice Knight at 3rd. And, of course, as the grand finals just elapsed, ATATA at 2nd and Ikan your champion. This has been an amazing tournament. I've had an absolute blast. Thank you for joining us up here. I have nothing to say except for I love watching you and I love commentating you.
Thank you so much. I love competing. I love this region. And I'm still fighting a cough, so I'm going to get off the mic before I spit germs into this thing.
Right.
Thank you guys so much. I love Chicago, and I love Chicago Smash. Thank you guys.
God, what an intense tournament, man. I've been able to cast a lot of tournaments over the last couple of years, last year or so, but this felt very close to home, obviously. Seeing so many players that I have kind of watched get better, players that were kind of on the come up before I started, it really is nice to have such a fantastic community here with us and really put on a fantastic showing. I had such a good time. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I had an amazing time. This really touches my heart. Just being here on the stage and watching everybody be able to give it their all has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been a very wonderful, sentimental tournament. Shouts out, of course, to Calavera for putting on such an amazing commentary roster. All of us are here because of the work that she put in, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. But don't go anywhere. We're going to sign off as commentators, but we've got one more thing to tell you guys. I've been Kevin with a K.
I've been Calavera.
I've been Cypher.
And I've been Excelsior. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to pass the mic over. Stay tuned, but thank you guys so much for having us.
See everybody.